This is the plaintiff, Anthony Campbell. He says he's a track coach, and one of his runners, the defendant, stole cash and phones from him. One of his other runners told him the defendant was even wearing some of his clothes at parties. At first, he wanted to beat him up, but when he calmed down, he decided to do the right thing and sue him in court for the $650 he's owed. This is the defendant, Sean Glover. He says he felt really bad about taking some of his coach's stuff, wrote him an apology letter, and is working, saving to pay him back. The plaintiff, however, is making things up and saying he took much more than he did. He thinks it's motivated by revenge or anger or something, and says the guy's just trying to kick him when he's down. He's accused of being a common criminal.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
okay, Anthony Campbell.
How you doing, Judge?
You are suing, good morning, to Sean Glover.
Yes, ma'am.
For $650 that you say was stolen from you by Tashawn at a time when you had taken him into your home. Now, talk to me. What is the relationship between you and Tashawn?
Well, I'm his high school track coach.
High school track coach.
Yes.
And how old are you, Tashawn?
18.
18. When did you turn 18?
Last December.
Okay. And so how did you two meet?
Well, he ran track for me like about 2 years ago. Then he moved to Virginia. He came back up here.
He went to where?
Virginia. He moved to Virginia.
He moved to Virginia. How did he end up coming back up here?
I guess his mother moved back up here.
Come on up, Mom. Are you Mom? Yes. I'm going to assume you're Mom. How did he end up coming back up here?
He was having problems with his father, so I decided to intervene and just bring him back up here with me.
Okay. It had nothing to do with track?
No.
All right, so he goes back to the same school and he's running track again, and you're still the coach?
Yes.
Are you the coach or the assistant coach?
Assistant.
Okay. And what happens that he ends up moving in with you?
Because he called me to his mother to kick him out because he said he had no job before he turned 18. She was going to kick him out, so I gave him a place to stay.
Okay, is this after high school? I'm not understanding.
No, this is like towards the end of high school. Like high school is still in like the end of June. They got
right.
out.
I meant for him, like, was it 12th grade or was it 11th grade or what was it?
11th.
It was 11th grade. So he was going to be going back in September.
Yes.
All right. Was there a time when you ended up in a position where you had to ask your son to leave?
Yes, it was.
Okay. What was that about?
He refused to follow the rules of the home. I have another son and a daughter as well. I give all of them a curfew to be in. Because he's older, he gets a later curfew. And several times he kept breaking his curfew. So I told him if he did it again, that he would have to find him some place to stay until he can abide by my rules. If it's good enough for his siblings, it's good enough for him. So he broke the rule again, and I told him, you have to find you some place to stay until you can abide by my rules. And he thought he was 18 and he could do what he want. I said, well, if you feel like you're grown, then you go do what grown people do. Before I find you some place to stay.
You go, girl. You just tell him, Mom. All right. Mr. Glover?
Yes.
Okay, so when you needed a place to stay, where'd you go?
I went to my coach.
Wouldn't it just have been easier to just meet curfew?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but it looks like a good idea to have liberty back then, right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
just were you fighting a lot with your mom?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, so then when you needed a place to stay, you went to him?
Yes, ma'am.
Why to him? How was he the one you turned to, I guess, instead of some friend's mom or something like that or some other? Why him?
Cause all my other friends are young and they can't take no one in, and I had already talked to him before.
Okay, and so he took you in, and how long were you staying there?
About 6 weeks.
6 weeks, and what happened after the 6 weeks?
Well, one time I noticed my shorts was missing, so I went in his room and I saw.
Wait, before you get to that, can I just ask you, how does the school feel about you taking in a student? Aren't there any rules against that?
No, well, the principal and the head coach, they knew he was staying with me.
And nobody had a problem with that? Nobody saw that maybe that was like the erasing a boundary that ought to stay there between teacher and student? And am I the only one who thought that maybe that's not the best idea for the track coach to take in a track star? He is a star, right?
Up and coming.
Up and coming star. Be honest. He's a star, right?
Up and coming.
Yeah, well, I'll use your phrase. He's going to get a track scholarship. He's that good.
Yes.
That's your phrase. I didn't make that up. I've never seen the guy run. You want to run around for me a few times so I can see how good you are? I mean, come on. I'm getting this from your statement. All right. I don't know why you're being stingy with the compliments right now. I think I'm good. I know why, but it's, the truth is the truth, right? So you end up taking him in, which I think is a bad idea on many fronts. And then after a few weeks, you find stuff missing. What do you find missing?
Well, I didn't even notice a lot of stuff. I was concerned about my shorts. So I went in his room, I saw my shorts on his bed. Then I
On his bed?
Yeah. Then I started seeing other items like my watch, my hats, my jeans, other stuff.
Right. So what do you do?
So I asked him, was he going to my room? First he said no. Then he admitted that.
Wait, the shorts are right there in his bed. How's he gonna say no?
I was asking to make sure.
Wait, where is he physically when you're asking him?
I don't know where he was at.
But you're talking to him on the phone?
Yes.
Okay, so he doesn't know that you're looking at shorts.
No, he never knows.
Okay, so he says no, and then you say.
Matter of fact, he was at practice. I was on my way going to practice. I was looking for my shorts.
You were late to practice?
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
I run with the kids too.
Okay.
So later on that day, then he admitted it.
He admitted what?
That he took my stuff.
What stuff?
The shorts, the money, everything.
What? Talk to me. Well, you skipped the money. Tell me about the money.
Well, I had my rent money in my dresser drawer.
How much money?
It was like $700 in there.
And he admitted to you that he took $700?
No, he said he admitted it took him $300, but it was $400 missing from there.
There was how much missing?
$400.
$400.
He didn't take all of it.
He didn't take the full $700. According to you, took $400. According to what you say was his confession to you, he took $300.
No, that's what he told me he took.
Okay, and then what? Wait, he told you he took $300?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so go on.
So then I called some of his teammates. I'm like, did y'all see Tayshaun spending some money, like a large amount of money? They said, yeah.
You called some of his teammates and asked them whether he had been spending some money?
Yes.
Okay,
So
and what else did you learn?
They told me he just bought a new cell phone.
That he just bought a new cell phone?
Yes.
Okay.
And a pair of new sneakers.
And a pair of new sneakers. Okay.
And myself, know him, he don't work, so I'm like, how he getting all this stuff? So
Right.
that's when I go check my rent money. When I saw the watch, because the watch and rent money was in the same dresser drawer. And
Okay.
I found
So
the
do
money
you
was
confront
missing.
him about the watch and the rent money?
Yes, all this happened at the same time.
All this at the same time, but do you do that in person or on the telephone or at practice?
On the phone.
Okay, and does he confess right on the phone?
Yes.
And what did he say was the reason he was doing this to the one person who would take him in?
Never got a reason.
And what did you say to him?
Told me he gotta leave.
And what did he say to you?
He came, got his stuff and left.
Now, do you tell him you got to pay me back?
I ain't tell him nothing.
What'd you do?
First, I was upset. I was ready to beat him up.
You gonna beat him up?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, go on.
Because that was my rent money. I needed that to pay rent. So I called the principal up and the head coach. They're like, no, just go to court, do it the right way. And I did it that way. Took the advice.
So, and what you did was, though, you didn't file a civil suit, you filed a criminal case, right?
I did both.
And then you filed at the same time?
Yes.
So you actually have a criminal case pending against him for the theft?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you go home and tell your mother what happened?
Yes, I did.
Or did you find out through him calling you?
No, he came home the same day the coach told him he had to leave. He came to me and he told me that he needed to talk to me. So I sat him down and I asked him, what did he do? Because I already knew he did something by the look on his face.
Because you already knew what?
I knew by the look on his face that he did something. So I asked him, what did he do? He told him this coach put him out, and I asked him why, and he kept putting his head down. And I said, just tell me why. Just tell me the whole story, because I'm going to find out. So he told me that he took some money and he was wearing the coach's clothes and things. And
did he tell you anything about the watch?
He told me that he was wearing the watch, but he didn't take the watch. The watch is still at the coach's house. He never took it. He was wearing it, but as far
as
the
watch at your house?
I got it back. When I went in the room, I took all the stuff back. I saw it was mine. I took it back.
Okay, I got it.
So he said he was wearing his clothes and his hat and his watch, but he didn't take any of that. That stuff is still there.
Okay.
He was being accused of taking some money, so I told him I needed him to be honest with me. How much money did he take? And first he didn't want to tell me. He said, you're going to be mad. I said, just tell me. I'm going to be mad regardless. So he told me that he took 2 cell phones and $170 in cash. And I remember the 2 cell phones because he came around one day and he asked me to take him to a store that buys used cell phones. And I asked him where to get the phones from. He said his friends, they don't need them anymore. So he was going to sell them, see if he can get some money.
A red flag. You seem really on the ball. I can't believe that wasn't a red flag for you.
It was, but being that he wasn't living in my house and he felt like he didn't have to abide by my rules, I didn't pressure him. I said, okay.
Didn't pressure him. You're the one driving him, and you're bringing him to the place to pawn off stolen goods.
Because this is how he. But at that time, I didn't know they were stolen.
This doesn't sound like you, I guess,
right.
is what I'm saying from everything else I've learned about you.
Right. At that time, I didn't know they were stolen because it's not the first time my son has had used cell phones.
Okay, Mr. Glover, what the heck, huh? What's going on?
Well, when I first moved there, everything was all cool, whatever. So I go down to the grocery store, makes me some money, feed myself, because he had to stop feeding me at a point in time. So he'd tell me, I asked him, what did I eat? He'd say, go in the refrigerator and get some. So I go in the refrigerator, and as soon as I eat something, refrigerator or freezer, he'll text me, yo, man, this is the roommate stuff. You open the box of sandwich, you ate this, you ate that, this wasn't mine. You told me go in the refrigerator and fix something to eat. So he'd get mad, but he never talked to me on the phone.
It's hard to be on your own, isn't it? You got to actually feed yourself. And so you started working at the grocery store in order to make money on tips and everything else to be able to buy food.
Or carry
bag boy
groceries
to be able to eat. Okay, go on.
I wasn't making a lot of money at half.
Okay, did you take the stuff or didn't you?
I did, but I didn't take.
What did you take?
I took $170. I got me a cell phone and two cell phones too. So condos.
You took two cell phones and $170. Why?
I mean, I needed money and I wasn't thinking straight.
Well, you were thinking straight. You just didn't think you'd get caught. Wait, have you ever done this before?
No, man.
Why would you do it to the guy who took you in?
I don't know. I just wasn't.
Do you have any arrests in your background?
No, man.
You're a track star. You had no problems up to now. You're looking at a scholarship, and you do something like this? Seriously.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Does it make sense that a track star would let a troubled kid live in his home? Does that blur the line?
I think that's getting too close.
It is getting too close.
Definitely.
What do you think?
I think it's crossing the line.
Is it?
Yes.
What about the compassion that the kid doesn't have a place to live?
I think it's compassionate. I would have done it. I work with children and kids, so I would have done the same thing.
Even though then all of a sudden you're teaching the kid, you have authority over the kid at school.
If I was teaching the kid, I probably would not cross that line. If it was something different, then no, he would not come in my house.
Got your point. Going inside the courtroom.
I certainly hope that this was an isolated incident. You wrote an apology letter to him?
I wrote like at least 5-6 pages of text messages straight going through his phone. We never talked on the phone.
Do you see him at practice?
I quit the team.
Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna run for a different school.
Are you in a different school? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Because of this?
I left because he broadcasted it to the whole team, threatening he gonna beat me up at practice in front of everybody. He went telling all the teammates. Now everybody knows.
All his other teammates knew because 3 of the other teammates came to my house questioning him about it, and I'm like, "How do y'all know?" And he said, "Coach told them what he did."
Teammates about
He's
this?
telling kids about it.
I wanted to make sure that they saw him with my stuff because I went to the cops. They said I can't do nothing because I ain't see him take the stuff. I got witnesses with them wearing my stuff.
You know what baffles me? I already explained. I already talked to him about what baffles me about his behavior. But can I tell you what baffles me about your behavior? You have been wronged. He's a thief. It's wrong. He should have done that. He did that to a person who took him in. All that. I understand all that. But having said all that, can I just put a comma there and talk to you about you? Because there's something about you that really bothers me. You know, you're a coach, which means that you should be in a certain. We're not their friends. We're their authority figures. How can you remain an authority figure? Well, it's not like his mom died and you took him in because you felt so sorry because otherwise he was going to be in a shelter. You took him in because he doesn't feel like abiding by his mom's rules, which shouldn't have happened to begin with. I don't know how the school would permit it. I don't know how the school district permits it, but I just don't know how you permit it because you take a big fat giant eraser and you blur the boundary between you two, which you shouldn't have done. So now here he is in a position where he's right where your money is. He's right where your stuff is. I'm not saying it's predictable because you shouldn't be a thief, okay? But it's a really bad position for you to put yourself in. So when this happens and you look at it, here's the guy who supposedly, he's a track star, he's gonna get a scholarship, I wanna see him do well, his mother put him out, so really? Because the first thing you do is go and run and file a criminal case against him so we can make sure he never gets a scholarship? We all know what he did wrong. I'm just wondering, do you ever reflect on what you did wrong?
Not really.
Come on up. No, I know you don't. Come on up. What's your name?
Ivan Smalls.
And are you a student or are you faculty or?
Oh, I run for the track club.
For track club, okay.
Yes.
And what are you here to tell me about this case?
Oh no, I just witnessed that the cell phones was in his possession, Tayshawn Glover.
Yeah, he admits it. Well, do you know what kind of cell phones they were?
Nextel.
But do you know what kind, anything else besides that?
No.
Do you have any receipts for the phones so I can gauge a value for them?
No.
But didn't you say you just bought them and that they were brand new?
No, one was like 2 months old. The other one's
That's brand new. 2 months old. You don't have the receipt from 2 months ago?
No.
And according to you, the cell phones are older, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, how would you know, really? I mean, do you know?
They were really old Boost mobile phones. They said, I took it to the place, they said they couldn't use them no more, but for parts to fix other phones. So
where did you end up selling the phones?
In Bayonne.
Is that where you took them to?
It's a used.
Did you see how much he got for the phone?
Yes, he got $35 for both of them. It was 2 phones. He's being accused of taking 3, but he only had 2.
No, I don't think so. I think you're accusing him of taking 2, right?
3. It was 3.
Oh, 3? Why are you saying cash stolen 450? I thought you said in here it was 300 and then at one point 400.
No, that's what he told me. Well, his mother wants to talk to her that day.
Yeah, but what did you say? What did he take, according to you? 300, 400, 450?
It was 450. That's cell phone. Make it 6.
Yeah, but that isn't what you said earlier. Am I crazy?
He said 4.
He said 4 at one point, and
Young
you
man
said
said
170, and then you say he said 3, and
No, his mother wanted to go talk to her.
Okay, here's where we do a little rough justice. Okay, find in favor of the plaintiff in this case in the amount of $205.
Defendant coming out of the courtroom first here. What was it like for you to stand up there and face this charge?
I mean, I didn't even see a point in it because half of it was a lie.
What lesson have you learned from this whole thing?
And not go in it. And don't move in with people that you don't really know about. You don't know the whole truth about them.
Are you shifting the blame onto him, or are you keeping it on yourself?
I mean, I know I was wrong, but that don't mean stretch it and try to get more money out of me that I didn't even take.
Okay. You said you weren't thinking straight. Are you thinking straight now?
Yes, I am.
Mm-hmm. What's changed?
I mean, I'm back living with my mom, man. I'm doing fine. I'm enrolled in school, and I have a plan after I finish school.
Last word, Mom?
Hope I don't have to go through this anymore.
All right. Good luck.
Right this way, if you would.
All right, head right down this way. All right, Coach, come on in here. Satisfied how this comes out?
Somewhat. I'm not satisfied with how much money she offered me back.
Can you change your policy of taking in kids?
No, I'm here to get kids a chance. Like, that was him. I can't judge every kid by the same thing he did.
Why do you have it in for him so much, and why?
Because that was my rent money he took from me, and my license stuff got cut off. I took money from other bills to pay on my rent.
He needs to do jail time in your mind?
No, I say community service, not jail time. Community service or something. He need to be punished though. I just paid the money back.
You don't believe he's learned his lesson?
No.
Harvey?
And here's the thing about rough justice. In small claims courts, it works because judges can kind of give a rough sense of, here's how much you should get. But if you go to a court of general jurisdiction, one of the courts where lawyers go, you have to really prove damages to the penny. You only get what you can prove. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.